getting set up to put some brake fluid in. I've used one of these Sealy bleeders for years now. They're just ace. There's loads of other ways to do it, but they're just brilliant for when you're on your own in the garage. I do honestly believe that for that last little bit, just doing it the old-fashioned way with two of you and doing the whole pedal pump thing, I think that is the right call. But for getting something there or thereabouts, like on a night like tonight, it's brilliant. It's a bit of housekeeping first. I've taken off all of the dust covers from the calipers and also this .4 tag, because apparently that's quite important for IVA, quite difficult to get hold of and not brake fluid resistant. So I'll just keep it in here so I don't drip anything on it. The kit does come with brake fluid. I think I've used this before. I didn't love it in the Lotus, to be honest. What have we got? Yeah, so we've got fluids, so it's all going to get bled again anyway, long before this sees a racetrack probably. So I'm not too bothered about what's going in it right now. Yeah, so I'm just going to check in the build manual just to check what the bleed order is. Typically you start furthest away from the master cylinder. But yeah, I'll figure that out and yeah, get cracking. Okay, so using this setup, it's just a case of fill the reservoir up, fill the Sealy tool up, put the cap on, and then we'll pump the handle until we get about 20 psi on the gauge, which is just nowhere near what you'll be seeing, what the system will be seeing under real usage, but it's enough to push the fluid around. I'll charge it up first, and I'm just going to sit and wait, just check for some leaks before I actually start any bleeding. So, yep, I'll report back. There we go, we're just a touch over 20 psi. So I'm going to just go around all the unions now, check for any leaks before I start bleeding. Okay, got a leak, and to be honest, I was expecting this. I'd read about this, and also the manual way back on page 23 does call out that there's a comment in there saying the copper washer should be this size. Now, there's no way that's the scale. But in the box with the brake lines, you've got some copper washers, so I just put those on. However, these came in some other totally random box or bag, totally unrelated to the braking system, and I found them later on. So I suspect, obviously it's not to scale, but I suspect this is the ones I need to be using. The other ones were much thinner. So I'm going to just release the pressure out of the Sealy thing. So you can just do that with this little nubbin thing here. Let the pressure out, and then I'm going to whip these washers off. Both calipers are dripping as well, which makes me think it's fairly certain just to be an incorrect part, that's the problem. And then repressurize. Okay, a quick comparison of the crush washers. You can see there's quite a big size difference. And going back to this diagram, although it's not to scale, I think the proportions are right, if that makes sense. So I'm going to whip this on, see what happens. You can actually see where the failures happened. There's a little ridge around the base of the threads on the adapter. Come on, focus. And the wider washer fits perfectly over. Come on. Focus. The wider washer fits perfectly on that, so that's in like a little seat now and it won't move around. Whereas these ones, clearly, that ridge was chewing into the washer, which would have compromised the seal. So we seem to be fluid tight now. So this is the setup I've got at the rear left, which is the first place to start. So the empty bottle, just to catch the stuff that comes out. Got a clear hose with a little rubber adapter, and then obviously the proper crescent wrench thing to crack the nipple open. So I'm just going to go around each corner doing this. The front calipers have got 2 nipples. Do the outboard one first. Won't be do all of it because it's pretty boring. And once we're done, we should have enough. It probably won't be perfect, but we'll have enough pressure in there to actuate this ratcheting mechanism a few times, which means we can then go ahead and put the handbrake on. So we've got most of the bubbles, well, all of the bubbles for now, out of the braking circuit. Again, I'm almost certain I'll need to do this again, possibly after the first little shakedown drive up and down the lane. And this is kind of the little thing that I do. Just after doing it, the inside of the nipple tends to pool up a bit of fluid. It's quite hard to get it out. And I've done it before on the Lotus where I've done the first track day or whatever, got everything hot, and then I've seen little dribbles of fluid come down here, which makes you panic a little bit. So I just do this from now on, just to suck out and dry any of the fluid lurking in there. So I've switched while I'm here, I'll switch the pressure bleeder over onto the clutch cylinder now. The clutch, I assume it's, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get the camera in there, but there's a little tube that sticks out the top of the gearbox housing. I'm going to assume that's the bleed point. Interestingly, the manual makes zero reference to putting fluid in or bleeding the clutch whatsoever. So if you were, I guess you would need to be fairly new to working on cars, but if you'd never worked on a car before, it would be quite an interesting attempt to get first gear, I guess. Anyway, so I'll do that now. Get the clutch and the brakes kind of working, and then probably call it a night. I suppose all that's left was to get in the car and press the pedals a little bit. Believe it or not, this is the very first time I've sat in the car. I've not been tempted at all until this point to climb in. But yeah, even without a seat in it, this thing is pretty damn claustrophobic, to be honest. But yeah, the Crocs are maybe not the footwear of choice for hitting just one pedal at a time. Because they're definitely not. But yeah, because the rear calipers, which are just weirdly just there, it's so great. The proportions of this car are bonkers. But yeah, because it's got like a ratchet inside it for the handbrake, so there's almost no pedal at all when you first start. So I've been kind of pumping that to ratchet those calipers, and then once I probably will bleed it again with the help of a friend, an assistant, the old-fashioned way before it goes out on the road properly. But there's a bit of pedal there. There's at least something, so I can get on and do the handbrake and stuff. We'll call it for tonight. I'll probably finish the cycle wings off in a separate video and do the rear ones in the same video. But yeah, it's been a decent day of progress, and we'll check back later.